Hello everyone, it's Dmitry, Surfalytics, Model 5 about cloud computing, and today we'll talk about data in the cloud. Obviously, for all data roles, it's probably the most important topic. Then we will discuss data in the cloud. We will talk more about security, compliance, privacy, because it's relatively easy to build something even for production, but there might be bad consequences, and especially in the previous lesson we talked about security. So imagine if you build something and like all your data available in the public, or you didn't set up the proper password and authentications, or you just have one admin super user and so on and so on. All these might lead to many problems. So that's why we will try to dive into this topic to see what kind of things important, and we will try to add some of tips based on my experience. So we'll start as usual from the quote from CEO of Netscape. And if we have the data, let's look at the data. If we have opinions, let's go with mine. So this is a very popular phrase. You probably heard it many times, but now you know who said this for the first time. And this is obviously because right now every company using the data to make the decisions. No one trying to guess, even avoiding educated guess, whatever. Everyone needs the data to make decisions. This is one. And the second, obviously, with the rise of AI, we still need the data to build AI applications, integrate them, and make them smart and intelligent. And especially like if you want to build RAG, if you want to build chatbot or anything, you need the data. But you need to be careful when you use the data. I want to bring again the shared responsibility model that we discussed last lesson. And as you might see, or if you remember, there are two parts in it. Like one is everything that vendor responsible, and another part everything what customer responsible. Obviously, with different cloud security service models, there are different level of responsibility. But data is always on the customer side. So that's why whatever you're using applications, so you build your own server or using platform as a service, whatever data you put there, it's 100% your responsibility how you will take care of it. Let's look some of the data characteristics. So they have physical characteristics about where is data located. So if we talk about public cloud, obviously data will be located in the cloud in one of data centers. Performance requirements. And this is quite popular topic, very popular in terms of system design for data engineering, because then you start discussing about, okay, we want to build data warehouse. One of the first questions you need to ask, what is the performance requirements? Is it real time? Is it near real time? Or it's delayed time? Or otherwise it's like batch? Because there are not many options. You can run a batch once an hour or every 24 hours. So like anything, like whatever you like, right? Trigger on the schedule, or it is near real time, 1-2 seconds. That is more doable, and then there is real time. And we'll talk more about this in the streaming model. Then data can have volatility, it's data variability, changeability, then volume, data volume, right? The size of the data, regulatory requirements, compliances, data privacy, transaction boundaries, retention period. So transaction boundary is not really applicable for analytics cases, but for example, retention is applicable, and this is very often case. Like even data storage, like S3 buckets, you can set up a retention policy, and you can archive data or you can delete data if it's older than 1 year, 6 months, because it's not only the cost, but you can have some compliances. And very often during interviews, the hiring manager especially, or other manager can ask you, did you work about compliance and privacy? That's the topics that you can discuss. In terms of compliances, there are many in the world. I just highlight some of them, like SOC 1.2, SAE, ISO, HIPAA, PCI, GDPR. PCI and GDPR, they're quite popular. GDPR is happening mostly for European customers, but many companies, even in North America, they have European customer. So that's why it's important. PCI and HIPAA, it's for North America. HIPAA is, I think it's medical for US, and PCI is for North America, maybe the world. It's related to, I think, credit card and payment processors. The personal PI, it's not compliance itself. So it's more like characteristics of the data, personally identifiable information. So this is the most critical data. And as a person who works with data warehouse and data platforms, you probably might to avoid this to store it. But very often, company brings all the data as is into data warehouse because I don't know, customer service needs access customer email, or you want to run email marketing and so on and so on. But this is a very critical piece of the data. And usually when data breach happening, this PI data is the most vulnerable. And yeah, everyone tries to stall PI data. Another topic is data store types. And then you will work more with cloud compute. It's even not on the cloud compute, even like on-premise, doesn't matter. There are different data store types. A relational database, this is the most popular, right? The SQL database, and we covered them in Model 2. Key value store, column store, document store, graph data store, those are NoSQL databases. And we already covered MongoDB in the Model 2 as example of key value store. Oh, no, sorry, MongoDB is document store, not key value store. But if you're gonna use, for example, Cosmos DB, you can go with column store, or not with key value store and document store. The column store is a part of still relational database, and it's usually analytical data warehouse, like such as MPP. If you know what does mean MPP, if no, we'll cover this in the Model 6. It's massive parallel processing. Then you have multiple nodes in the cluster, and they processing data all together. So the relational database and column store, they're like traditional databases, and key value, document, and graph, they know SQL. The graph database, it's not really used for analytics. It is sometimes using for very specific use cases, like for analyzing social media and so on. Data lakes is the alternative for data warehouse, right? And we'll cover it as well. But you can think about, you might have S3 buckets where you store some data and you can read and process the data. Content delivery network, it's a very different topic. It's more about solution architecture, how you deploy your solutions, but it's still considered as a data store types. And as data analyst, data engineer, you never touch it. So the summary, what you need to know, relational database, what is row and column store difference. You might need to access key value and document store, and work with data lakes. That's it. So to better understand everything, you can build a kind of like pet project where you will source data from OLTP relational database. You will store it in MPP columnar store or in data lake. And optionally, you can also query data from key value and document store, like example we had with the MongoDB. This is example of PI data. And you can see how many, there are more than 15 columns, but this is just example of 15 of them, like full name, social security number, email address, phone numbers, and so on. All kind of information that is identifiable. So what we can do with PI data? Yeah, of course it depends on regulations, and especially if it's small company and startup, they don't really care or much care about this till actually they need to prove. That's why many small companies then that starts, they trying to survive. They don't have much funding. They don't have big team, so they just building the product. Obviously, they collecting customers' data and don't do anything before they grow to the certain size. But some ideas is we need to encrypt the data at rest and transit. We need to use the proper access controls. So encryption, you're already aware from the past lessons. IAM, you're already aware. Use data classification and tagging is so, but we can also have tagging inside database, data warehouse, and data classification is more about document. Like for example, if you search for data classification Amazon, you will see example. For how Amazon classified the data. The same you can do for Microsoft and other companies. This is hard work, to collect all kinds of data and store it together. But this is how usually big organizations do. Someone needs to do this work. So I would describe data classification is a kind of data governance job. ensure compliance with relevant regulations, implement data residency requirements, use tokenization and pseudonymization where possible. This is a screenshot from AWS, because every public cloud provider, they have information about how they handle data, what they can do, and obviously any LLM, ChatGPT, Gemini can talk more about this. And this is also part of AWS compliance. They have AWS Artifacts, and you see AWS Artifact available in the console. Self-service audit Artifact is a real portal that provides our customers with on-demand access to AWS compliance documents and arguments. And also with rise of AI, obviously all those public cloud vendors, they have security services and audit services that can go through your data setup and suggest you some improvement. We don't have any hands-on for this lesson, but in the next lesson we will dive into architecture. And actually I have a couple more slides. So there are also websites about principle for maintaining data integrity in the cloud, so security, privacy, compliance. And you don't need to spend, because your goal is to be more or less hands-on experience, like as an engineer data analyst. That's why, as I mentioned, the best source for knowledge is actually learning by doing, and the solution architecture course is good enough, because you just need to know that, yeah, if you store data, there's encryption, there is access, and there is networking security part of it. And therefore Azure compliance, it also has the same thing. So for every cloud, you can open, for example, region like Canadian, US, Europe, and you can see compliances there, and then you can see if their cloud service is compliant with the region. Because very often requirement could be, if you have Canadian customers, you're obligated to store their data in Canada. That's why obviously you go to AWS, and you need to use region Canada, right? They have data center in Canada, and you spin up, I don't know, Redshift or something. It should be reside in Canada. And then you can see all kind of regulations and compliance for the Canada data center. That's it for this lesson.